Time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by New Stopette, America's leading spray deodorant. The lotion spray deodorant that's like balm to your skin. Ooh, there goes perspiration. Now let's all play What's My Line?
Now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular Broadway columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers from coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you. I'd like to tell our audience that night before last, a wonderful thing happened to me. I was made an admiral in the Navy of the state of Nebraska by the governor. And so, therefore, tonight I'm able to say that the gentleman on my left is very nautical, but we love him just the same. Fred Allen.
Well, thank you, Admiral. And at my left, ladies and gentlemen, a young lady, a very attractive young lady, who's been worried lately because her parrot has been starting to talk with a British accent. And today she found out why, because the newspaper in the bottom of the parrot's cage is the London Times. And here she is, Miss Arlene Francis.
I say pip-pip. Awfully good. And on my left, the distinguished publisher of Random House, who really has taught me all the words I know with the American College Dictionary, Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
And on my left, just back from the Miss America contest in Atlantic City, where we narrowly missed being made Miss America himself, our panel moderator, John Daly.
Thank you, Bennett. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line? This is also known as the Lunatic Hour, and we're up to our old tricks, but a little bit more so tonight. Actually, a lot of friends have come into the theater to enjoy what I hope will be a tough night for the panel, because we have some tough occupations for them to work on tonight and some interesting situations. We'll also have a famous guest challenger a bit later on, but I think it's time for these four experts of ours to meet the first challenger. So would you sign in, please, ma'am? Margaret. Margaret Devereaux, is that right? And I am happy to tell you that there's somebody here from Texas, because when you came out, you could hear a yo-ho way out there in the car. It's nice to have you with us. Where are you from?
Howell, Michigan.
Howell, Michigan?
Yes.
Where is that? Near Detroit?
It's about midway between Detroit and Lansing.
Midway between Detroit and Lansing. Well, it's nice to have you here midway between my desk and where the panel sits, and the panel would like very much to do, I think, what Lansing would like to do. They'd like to have you come over there so that they can get a closer look at you, please.
Well, Mr. Devereaux.
How do you do?
Hello, Mr. Devereaux.
Devereaux.
Hello.
And now, Miss Devereaux, if you will, come over here and join me. Sit down beside me. Now, I'm not that bad. Now, you can come and spend a few minutes in here with me. And I think what we ought to do right now is tell the panel that actually Miss Margaret and I might be called old friends. We've seen a bit of each other these last few days, because I should like you to meet Miss Michigan of 1956, who gave, by golly, Miss Margaret gave Miss Ritchie of Colorado a real rough tussle for it. They were all magnificently lovely young ladies.
56, John.
Well, actually, it's Miss America. It's Miss America of 1956, so that I presume the titles also would be post-dated to 1956. This has to do with the calendar, Fred. It's the Gregorian one. We'll get back to it later on. Have fun, okay? Now, I would ask you if you know how we score this operation, do you?
Yes, I do.
Good, because Miss Margaret has a very interesting occupation that you have to find out, panel. If you know the scoring processes, let's let the folks at home and our friends here in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right. Miss Devereaux is salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Bennett, Cerf.
Miss Devereaux, I'm sorry you're not in that bathing suit you wore in the contest.
There, Bennett.
Do you,
Down, boys.
do you perform a service, Miss Devereaux?
Yes, I do.
Is it the sort of service that a fortunate fellow like Fred or myself might avail ourselves of?
Very definitely.
We could. Would the girls also be able to avail themselves of this service?
Yes.
And I would say, by way of clarification, that in Fred and yourself, I've never seen two more likely candidates.
Miss Devereaux, do you have anything to do with live animals?
As differentiated from these two that are known as human beings.
No.
That's one. One down and 9 to go. And Admiral Kilgallen.
Miss Devereaux, do you work for a profit-making organization?
I didn't hear you.
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
No.
That makes it 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Allen.
Do you work for some branch of the government?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
You don't work for any branch of the government. Do you work, She's so pretty. I'm trying to think of where she would fit in, where there'd be no profit attached to it. Do you work for any part of the clergy? You could save souls, I'm sure of that.
Heels, too, with Bennett and I.
No.
What is it? You're dubious. No?
No, I think we'll give you a no on that, too. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Miss Devereaux, have you ever had any connection with the Michigan school system?
No, sir.
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Now, have we established that Miss Devereaux does not work for any branch of any government?
I believe substantially that has been
That's
established.
covered. Well, do you work indoors?
Yes.
Is yours what might be described as a white-collar job?
Yeah, I'd say it's white collar, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's white collar if I ever saw white collar.
Well, do you wear something aside from a usual daytime dress when you work?
Yes.
Is the whole dress white?
Yes.
Is it a type of hospital garb?
You might say so.
Well, if I say so, will I get a card flipped in my face? All right. Do you work in an institution that is dedicated to health and healing?
Yes.
Are you some type of nurse or nurse's aide?
Oh, they're all smart. Miss Margaret said you're so smart. I said they're all smart. Miss Margaret, I think I gave too much away when I said it was white collar, so we'll flip all the rest of the cards anyway for exercise. But I do want to say something that I'm sure the panel would like to say to you, and I think you know it yourself. It's a very great compliment to you that you were Miss Michigan, and I've had a chance to know you a little bit more than the panel does, but we all think that you deserve the compliment. There's no doubt about it. It's
Thank
nice
you
to have
very
had you
much.
with us on What's My Life.
Pleasure of all.
Good to see you. All right, panel, a very good beginning, but let's see what you can do with our second challenger. And would you come and sign in, please, ma'am? Mary Civello, is that right? And is it Miss or Mrs.? Mrs. Civello, and where are you from?
Belrose, Long Island.
Belrose, Long Island. Fine. Well, there's a long stretch of stage there. I know it looks long to you, but you take a walk on it, will you?
Hello, Mr. Bella.
All right, Mrs. Civello, over here, if you will, and sit down next to me. And I would ask you, first of all, if you are familiar with our scoring system on What's My Line. Well, if you're familiar with that, let's let the folks at home and our friends here know exactly what your line is. All right. Mrs. Civello is salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Fred Allen.
Miss Savello, is it Miss Savello?
Mrs.
Mrs. Savello, is there a product involved in what brings you here?
Yes.
There is a product involved. Is this product something that comes in contact with the body?
No.
Small conference.
Under certain circumstances.
Yes.
Yes, Mrs.
Oh, really?
Savello,
Yes.
we will agree that it comes in contact with
You've
the
had
body.
a change of heart and a change of mind.
Change of heart, yes. We're generous.
Is this, it comes in contact with the body. Is it something that might be worn?
No.
Or...
Get together, John. I'm getting the worst of it here.
Maybe John wears it and she doesn't know about it.
What did you say, Arlene?
I said maybe it was something that you wore that Mrs. Savello didn't know about.
Hasn't heard about it.
Now, actually, we will agree that it's worn, too, Fred, so you
It's
go
worn.
on. Mm-hmm.
Little by little, I'm getting the facts.
Little by little. We're giving you the rope. Go ahead.
I'll hang myself eventually. I have a lynching kit, do-it-yourself lynching kit. You give me enough rope, and I'll take care of it. Well, if this product can be worn, is it something that is attractive looking?
Yes.
It is attractive.
Yes, I think, there's always an element of subjective decision in these matters, but I would think that certainly there were many who would say it's attractive, yes.
John, may I ask you a question?
Yes, Mr. Allen.
Do you really think in Philadelphia that nearly everybody reads the bulletin?
I don't know, Mr. Allen.
Well, if this can be worn and it is attractive, is it something that I wouldn't wear?
I would think, well, I just don't think you're the type to wear it, Fred.
Well, if Arlene or if Dorothy had one of these on right now, would we notice it?
Yes.
Yes.
We would notice it. Well, I don't see anything unusual with the Admiral and
the sergeant.
Arlene and the Vice Admiral here. Is this something that might be... is this something that might be worn underneath someplace that I wouldn't know about?
No.
No, I wouldn't think so. One
Really?
down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
I wouldn't know.
No, because Mrs. Savello said it would show, Fred.
It would show.
If Dorothy or I had it on, it would
Yes.
show.
Well, John confused
But
me.
it is unlikely that we would wear it on the panel.
Very unlikely.
Yeah, I
It
would
is
think so.
unlikely.
Actually, Mrs. Savello would be more of a judge because this is a woman asking a question of a woman.
If one wore it, would one wear it outdoors?
If one wore it, one would.
One would wear it outdoors. You are implying, therefore, that one wouldn't always wear it.
No.
No. Is it used for something else other than to be worn?
Oh, why didn't I stay in Atlantic City? Goodbye.
No?
No, I would say this. It's basically meant to be worn. To be sure, Mrs. Savello says that there is another element, I think there is in every instance of something that is worn, which
Yes.
would be show. On that basis, why you continue the
Well, is it
question.
worn by human beings?
No.
That makes it 2 down and 8
Why
to
would
go.
Dorothy or I wear it?
All right, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Savello, this is worn, is it by a 4-legged animal?
Yes.
Is it a 4-legged animal that might be sometimes considered a household pet?
No. No. 3 down, 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, this is a real outdoor type animal, then.
Yes.
Well, if it's 4-legged, is it bigger than a goat?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is it anything that anyone would ever ride on?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, is it anything as usual as a horse?
Yes.
You would have a product that concerns horses?
Yes.
Well, do you make saddles or bridles or that type of thing?
That makes it 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Allen.
Is it some part of the harness?
No.
5 down and 5 to go,
Is
Miss
it
Francis.
a horse blanket? Of
A
any
horse
kind?
blanket it is. And I would say that Mrs. Savello's got a real talent because she is with Arcaro and Dan's Saddlery, and the Arcaro there is a young
yes,
gentleman named
indeed.
Edward Arcaro who rode a
Also-
horse named Nashua, remember?
I would like to also add to that Dorothy and I being fillies, that's why, of course, we would wear this.
Yes, Fred.
Does Mrs. Savello make blankets for Indians, too?
No, not yet.
Just for the... Haven't worked
We
up
might
to
put
that.
it in, though.
We'll put in the new line.
I imagine if we had enough orders, we would.
Oh. Thank you, Mrs. Savello. It was nice to have you with us in What's My Life. Come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which my friends on the panel are all blindfolded. The blindfolds are in place, are they, panel?
Yes, sir. Daly.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right. Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we have a different system of questioning. You will ask one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you a living American human being?
I beg your pardon. Colonel,
What?
I beg your pardon, Colonel.
Admiral.
Admiral, I'm sorry. I just got up.
Well, I can tell you're living.
Are you in the sports world?
No, sir, Mr. Allen.
Good.
Well done, a 9 to go, Miss Francis.
You are, of course, used to appearing as an entertainer.
Well, some moments come to every man.
Mr. Cerf.
Have you ever been an officer in the Prohibition Society?
No, sir.
What does
That's
that
2
mean,
down and 8
Bennett?
to go, Miss Kilgallen.
I'd like to have a conference. I want to know what Bennett meant by that last question.
Well, I don't think we'll let you have a conference about this one because we're a little short of time, Miss Dorothy.
I'll tell
Well,
you later, Doc.
are you in show business?
Yes.
Are you appearing in in the theater currently in some Broadway show?
No, sir.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you appearing in a nightclub?
Yes, sir.
Have you recently allowed your life story to be written?
Yes.
Are
How
you
amazing.
Joey Lewis?
Yes.
Oh, really? Sing for us.
I can hardly wait to hear what I got to say now.
Actually, no, he's bad out. I thought, well, now, how's he going to disguise his voice, this man that
Oh,
I've
he
known
couldn't.
for so long and liked so well? And he doesn't disguise it at all. And I take a look at the forehead and I say, whoops, here goes trouble.
Now,
Well,
we've been kind of thinking that tonight Don Newcomb might be on because the Dodgers
Sounded
cinched
like
the pennant, and you did sound at first a little bit like him.
But when you said you just got up. We knew it wasn't Don Newcomb.
I'm sorry.
Well, actually, Bennett's going to publish, you're going to publish the story of Joe's life, aren't
Yeah.
you?
Yes, that's why.
It comes out October 21st.
The Joker's Wild.
The Joker is wild. The opening scene describes me as tall, dark, and handsome. And then from then on, it gets unbelievable. Oh. The opening chapter.
What did they do with the poles in the Coper? What did they do with them? Do you know?
They removed the poles.
Well, where did they go?
They went to the El Rancho Hotel in Las Vegas.
Is
Back
it
to
true
Poland.
that in the Copa show you're singing a song about this show, What's My Line?
Yes.
Can you sing it now?
That will be all.
Oh, no. You don't want to close the network, do you?
Joe, it was wonderful. And now let's see what our panel members can do with another challenger. Will you come and sign in, please, sir? Lee Stapp. Right, sir? All right, Lee, where are you from?
I'm from Texas.
You're from Texas.
That's
Will you
right.
take a look at the panel? All right, come with me. Because we're a little short of time, and we'll dispense with the walk down. because I want to see what the panel can really do with you. Do you know how we score this operation,
Yes,
Lee?
sir, I do.
Fine. If you know that, let's let the people at home and our friends here in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, Mr. Staff is self-employed. With that, let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. Staff looks like an outdoor man. Are you, Mr. Staff?
Yes,
You work outdoors a little bit?
Yes.
Do you work at all with animals?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Stath, have you ever been a familiar figure in those vast Texas oil fields?
Well, no.
No?
Don't you wish you had been, huh? 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, Lee, are there quite a few people in Texas doing what you do?
Talking about Texas?
No.
No, I don't think there are quite a few people in Texas doing what Lee does. 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Allen.
Well, do you deal in services?
Yes.
Are your services available for men and for women?
Yes.
Do the people come to you to have you practice whatever it is you practice?
Yes.
Do you, you don't work in a theater by any chance?
No, I just can't afford a haircut.
Well,
That makes
you could put a belt buckle on the back of the hair with the...
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Am I to understand from that answer that Mr. Staff has nothing to do with the entertainment business in any
No,
way?
what the question was, do you do what you do?
Do in a theater.
In a theater, and his
But-
answer is no.
But we had substantiated that he does do something outdoors. Is your work in any way entertaining? Do people enjoy watching what you do?
Yes.
When you are performing, do you perform by yourself as opposed to with a troupe?
No.
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Stath, have you ever appeared in any carnivals or rodeos?
No.
You haven't.
6 down and 4 to go, but hold the phone for a minute. 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you sing or play a musical instrument?
There goes Dorothy. The two
No.
parts to the question, sing or play the musical instrument?
No.
No, that's right. 7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Allen.
But you don't entertain people in any way at all.
Oh, no,
Would you repeat that question?
But where do you entertain them?
You're not
We
paying
can't
attention.
answer yes or no.
Well, I know, but he said not at fairs or not at circuses.
The question that has been asked so far to get it clarified is carnivals and
Rodeo.
rodeos.
Well, do you work,
And in a theater. Those are the 3.
do you work with a circus?
Yes.
Do you work in the sideshow?
No.
No, he doesn't. And I'm going to flip the cards. Actually, I think you were getting closer, but we're going to run out of time in a very few seconds. I want you to meet the man on the flying trapeze. Actually, a word of explanation. He has never performed except with a circus. Ergo, he has never performed in a theater, which is why I gave you that specific. And so, until next week, fair sailing, Admiral. See you, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, Admiral, and good night, Fred.
Good night, Admiral. There isn't any water in that state that you're an admiral, is
That's
there?
why I'm an admiral.
A dry admiral, huh? Well, good night, dry sailor.
I'm a sergeant.
Oh, sergeant.
Good night, Bennett.
We have no time for sergeants. Good night, Mr. America, Mr. Davy.
And thank you. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Transportation for What's My Line is arranged through American Airlines, America's leading airline, serving 77 major cities throughout the United States, Canada, and Mexico. This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production in association with the CBS Television Network.